Hey, what's up? John Sonmez here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the power of belief. This is something that I think is a really important concept to understand if you want to be able to influence people and influence basically the world around you. But I'm going to be talking about the power of belief in the context of social situations and dealing with other people, and how your internal beliefs, like what you believe about yourself, is going to greatly impact the way other people perceive you. In fact, for the most part, what you believe about yourself and how you portray yourself based on that is going to probably influence how other people perceive you more than anything else there is. Now, your appearance can definitely sway things, especially if it's extreme. For example, if you're in some kind of uniform or something, that's going to say something about you. But even with that, okay, when you open your mouth and when you speak, and the way that you speak, which is going to be influenced, or very much influenced, by the way, by what you believe about yourself, that is going to very much change people's perceptions, right? So I'll give you an instance here, okay? Suppose that you were driving your car, okay, and you hear some sirens behind you, right? You know, you've seen that happen before, and you're in that situation, you're like, fuck, right? You look in the rearview mirror and you're like, maybe it's not me, but then, you know it's you. So you pull over, okay, and you're a little bit nervous, right? You're getting your license and registration because you know it's going to happen. You roll down your window, turn off your music, straighten up a little bit. Police officer comes over, okay, he's got his shades on, right, his aviator sunglasses, he's strolling over, right, he's got his clipboard, he tells you to roll down your window, and then he flips up his shades, okay, and when he speaks, you can just tell that he's like not confident at all, and that he believes that he's giving you basically that he's doing you a disservice, he's interrupting your day, and that you're more valuable than him, and that he's being rude by interrupting you and pulling you over, and he just had to do it, and he's very, very sorry that he did it. That's the impression that's what he believes, and that's the impression that you get from him, right? All of a sudden, you're going to shift, right? Before, you thought he was this intimidating character, right? That just being in the police uniform, just the context of that situation, gave him some confidence in your mind, some authority in your mind, some credibility in your mind. But as soon as he opened his mouth and spoke, you could detect this difference in the way he was carrying himself and what he actually was, right? And so you're suddenly going to be a little bit relieved, and you're suddenly going to feel like a lot different about that person, right? Okay, now, the reason why that is because, again, like I said at the very beginning of this video, what you believe about yourself is much more important than anything that you say, anything that you do, right? Anything that you wear, okay? Even though appearances can create a first impression, the bigger part of the first impression is the way you carry yourself and what you actually believe about yourself. Now, the deeper part of this is that where does that come from, okay? And that's the hard part, right? Because you can't fake a lot of this stuff, okay? And the place that it comes from is what you actually believe about yourself, right? So, I could give you a ton of examples about this, but you are an observer of me, okay, right? I observe myself. We should all be observing ourselves, right? But you can tell when I'm uncomfortable on this camera, when I'm uncomfortable with what I'm saying. Not everything that I say flows perfectly, or I'm comfortable saying. Sometimes I'm afraid that people are overhearing me when I'm walking on the street. Sometimes I'm just not comfortable saying the thing that I'm saying, right? So you can detect that incongruency in me, right? And it all has to do with what I believe about myself. But you can also detect when I'm being genuine, when I'm being confident, right? What I believe about myself, right? So you could probably look at me, right? And you could look at my videos, and you could look at a particular video, and you could say, at this moment, John probably believes this about himself. In fact, this is a really good exercise to do, right? If I feel and if I believe that I have something valuable to tell you, okay? If I believe that I have something that's worthwhile, and I believe that I'm looking good on camera, I'm coming across well, I'm expressing myself well, the video that I'm creating right now is really impactful and is really going to help you. You can tell when I believe what I'm saying, okay? And when I have that belief, it becomes true. You start to believe that. You believe me as a credible authority. You believe what I'm saying, right? Or you at least respect what I'm saying, although you might not 100% believe it, because I'm speaking it with authority. And the only way that I'm speaking with authority is because of the belief that I have about myself, right? We're all really good at the social dynamic of sussing out what a person actually believes about themselves. So where am I going with all of this? Okay, so where I'm going with all of this is that it's a very, very powerful concept to understand, is that the core being what you believe about yourself is pretty much the default of what people are going to believe about you. So how does this affect things? Well, it means that you can greatly influence your reality and other people's perception of you in ways that you don't even understand, right? So a lot of ways that people try to influence other people, okay, or try to get them to believe something about themselves, right? For example, to get them to believe that you are of a high status, or you've got a lot of money, or whatever it is. A lot of the way that people do that is they do that by trying to prove something or show something or say something or drop hints of that, okay? But they don't actually believe that about themselves, right? So they're trying to project an image, and that usually falls flat, right? I was just at the gym today, okay? And I was noticing, I observed people a lot of times, and I'm noticing this guy that was doing like some pull downs, right? And some lat pull downs. And he got up, okay, and he was a pretty buff guy. Like, he definitely had, a really good physique. Like, definitely good guy, right? Or definitely good physique. I don't know if he's a good guy. I didn't meet him, but anyway. So he gets up and he's like, doing some arm circles and stuff, and he's kind of looking around and kind of like, bobbing his head a little bit. And I'm thinking, like, I'm just observing, and I'm like, this guy, I can tell exactly what he's doing right now, like what's going on in his head, right? What he believes about himself, right? And it was very apparent to me, even though he wasn't doing anything big, even though it wasn't like, very much to grasp from that, but by observing, right, I could tell that what he was trying to do was he was trying to like kind of look kind of cool and look like he's relaxed, okay, and just having a good time and confident with himself, but he was really kind of nervous and looking for something, right? Looking for something outside himself, not just comfortable in his own skin, right? He believed about himself probably something, his story about what he believed about himself was probably like, I got to go to the gym. I got to show off. I need people to see how ripped I am and how big I am and how cool I am. And I need to look around and make sure that people are seeing that. Like, I need that, right? That's what I believe about myself. I believe I'm not cool enough just by myself, just hanging out. I need to check out shit and make sure that I'm showing off to a bit, right? Again, not trying to knock him, not trying to say like that he's doing this in an obnoxious way. It's just a very slight, subtle thing, but it's the belief in himself. Whereas someone who is like, where their belief in themselves is that I don't care about external validation. I don't care what other people, they all in the fucking shit. Like, when I'm walking around the gym, like I'm badass and I'm just gonna do my routine because I don't care, because I know everybody's looking at me, right? That kind of belief would also result in that kind of thing, because those people that observe you would get that vibe from you, right? So again, this is just one example. But the whole point of this is that your belief about yourself is going to greatly influence what other people perceive. In fact, it'll be the primary cue that they use, right? When you say something, what you believe, they're going to take your lead on that. And the reason for this, and your brain essentially cannot process all the information that's coming in. And so what you have to do, right? You have to filter things, of course, but you also have to take things for face value, right? You can't question everything. So if someone projects the image of being confident, of being whatever, of high status, of being wealthy, of whatever it is, because they believe that about themselves, you're not going to doubt that, okay, because it doesn't make sense. It makes sense to take things at face value until there's something that's incongruent. And see, this is where you get tripped up, and this is where you get caught when you're trying to fake it, okay? When you're trying to fake some of these things without having the belief. Now, I'm a strong believer in fake it till you make it. I did this old video a long time ago about fake it till you make it. In fact, let's actually link to the video on fake it till you make it, or be your true self, or be real, because that's a little bit more of an updated version of this idea. But the point is that you can fake it till you make it, but you have to have the belief about yourself, right? So that's why when I talk about faking it till you make it, it's not about being fake. It's about acting as if you're already what you want to become. It's about acting as if you already have this success. It's about playing a role, right, which is not really faking. Like, actors are not faking, okay? They're actually playing a role. They're becoming that thing, that person, for some period of time. And so if you do that, right, if you act as if you pretend, if you play a role, and you actually believe that deep down, right? because this is your new attribute, right? If you believe that thing, then you will project that, and that will be that reality, right? So this comes into play in a lot of different social situations when you're dealing with people, when you're in negotiation, okay? Or you're at a job interview, right? The way that you believe about yourself, you believe you're qualified, you believe that they should definitely hire you for this, you believe you're confident, you believe that you're successful, and things just happen for you. Other people are going to have that belief as well. It's hard to make yourself have that belief. That's why acting as if. That's why taking these exercises. That's why, studying yourself and observing other people and taking on a role can be a very, very effective way to do that. Another acting as if, right? Another situation. Again, I've talked to you guys about this before. In fact, that other video, like I said, was about what to say to girls. Is in that situation, right? In a romantic relationship situation, you're meeting new people, right? Creating attraction. If you believe about yourself that you are confident, if you believe that you're attractive, if you believe that people just generally like you and you're like a benefit whenever you meet people, they're just excited to see you and meet you. If you have that belief and you approach people with that belief, male or female, it doesn't really matter in this situation. Making friends, making girlfriends, doesn't matter. What's going to happen is they're going to believe that as well. They're going to be like, oh, this guy's like, he's just a social, easily, likable person, okay? And he has success, or he's successful with women. He's successful in social circles. He's successful in these things, right? So that's the thing. That's the value of that. Whereas if you're trying to project all of those images, but you don't deep down believe it, it doesn't matter. You can try all the mechanics, you can wear the things, you can say the words, okay? You can walk the way that you think someone would walk who believes those things about themselves, but you don't actually believe it, so you're going to be incongruent in your actions. And then that type 2 system, right? Remember I said how our brain shortcuts? It's gonna like say, wait a minute, we need to move this over to type 1 and analyze the situation, because this isn't where, or it might not even do that. It might just automatically run a subroutine that says, hey, there's an incongruency here. It feels like this person actually, just like the police officer in the first example, where it's like, they look like they're an authority figure, but this person doesn't really believe it, right? It's like bees sensing your fear, right? All of us as humans have that sort of extra perception that we're not even aware of. We could call it intuition, but it comes into play, and you can do this. And so here's an exercise for you that I would say. I'll give you this exercise, because once you get this, then I think that you'll see the power of this, and then you can come up with your own ways to implement this. But this is your exercise. I want you to go out today, okay? And I want you to go to somewhere like a coffee shop, the gym, perhaps anywhere where there's lots of people and there's some social interactions and situations where people would be watching each other. And I want you to people watch. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to look at different people, and I want you to see if you can figure out what they believe about themselves. What is it that they believe about themselves? See if you can do this. You're going to be amazed at how good you are at doing this, okay? Because you do this all the time. You just do this unconsciously and you don't notice it. But I want you to actually notice this. And I want you to notice, and you're going to notice that there's a lot of people that are really fucking concerned with what other people think about them, and that they're really nervous all the time. That are worried about what they're going to say. That are worried about what they look like. They're worried about what direction they're fucking facing, and if someone's looking at them, and if they're getting in someone's way, and all of this crazy shit that people think about, okay? Because they have these beliefs about themselves, okay? And when you see that, that's going to help you to understand how you are being perceived by the world. Again, it's very hard to observe this in yourself, but that's why I say that it's really important to understand what you believe about yourself is what is creating this. And that's the deeper thing, right? You can like look at the mechanics and how you should hold yourself and what you should say and posturing, all this kind of bullshit, and it's fine. But the deeper thing, the place to start, and the thing that you can't trick people on is what you believe about yourself. And if you can get good at psyching yourself up and creating beliefs about yourself, creating what some people would call a state, okay, and believing that state, then all these other things are going to fall into place, right? All those actions. And like I said, it's not a perfect thing. Like you can tell you're watching my YouTube videos. You're subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click the bell. Make sure you get the notifications, okay? But you can tell when you're watching my videos, do I believe what I'm saying? What do I believe about myself? Am I comfortable? Right? All of these things are being portrayed, right, on this camera, and I can't fake that shit. You know when I'm being authentic. You know when I'm not, okay? And as hard as I try to say the same things, to make the same facial expressions or hand expressions, okay? When I'm not really believing that what I'm saying is going to help you, that I'm not genuinely trying to, and I'm not speaking from that authority because I don't believe what I say is valuable, you don't either. I'm not in your head in that case. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so that's it. Long video. Didn't mean to make it that long, but this is a really, really critical, important concept. And once you get this and you figure out how that you can sort of manipulate your own state and your beliefs, and some of the tricks, like I said, playing a role, doing things that will psych you up and get you into a particular state and a certain set of beliefs about yourself, then you can really influence people a lot more than you could in any other way, okay? And if you observe people and you watch this happening, every once in a while you're going to find a few people that you're observing that really have this, that you can tell that this is not a fake confident person, right? And they are typically going to come off as very charismatic people that you are drawn to and you want to be around, because they don't have that incongruency, and you can see that they're actually true in what they believe about themselves in a good way, right? Okay, that's all I got for you today. If you have not subscribed already, I got a request for you. One, first of all, share this video, okay? Let's grow. Let's share the love, okay? And then second, make sure to click that subscribe button below, okay? And click the bell so you don't miss any of the videos. I do 2 videos a day, so you want to get some notifications when these come out so you don't miss them, because it's easy to miss videos, and one of them may change your life. So. Or not, or it may just piss you off and make you unsubscribe, but you don't want to miss that either. So click the bell. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.